Humanity's victory over the Garzak Empire marked a pivotal moment in the history of the universe. The once insignificant Earth, a small, vulnerable planet, had become a galactic powerhouse, defying the overwhelming odds stacked against it. The first Garzak scout ship, followed by their massive fleet, had arrived with the intent to wipe out Earth, a primitive, underdeveloped species by their standards. The Garzak Empire, with its advanced technology, had no idea what they were about to encounter. Initially, Earth's defense appeared futile. Cities were decimated, and the overwhelming firepower of the Garzak fleet threatened to erase the very existence of humanity. Yet, despite this devastating assault, Earth's forces fought back with an intensity and creativity that left the Garzak stunned. While their military technology was still vastly inferior, humanity's ingenuity, adaptability, and unbreakable will to survive allowed them to mount a resistance no one had anticipated. What really turned the tide in humanity's favor was the sacrifice of General Maria Alvarez, who led a mission to infiltrate the Garzak flagship. Her final heroic act of planting explosives in the heart of the alien ship's core caused the entire Garzak fleet to collapse in a spectacular explosion, leaving the aliens defeated and retreating. The Garzak were forced to retreat to the far corners of the galaxy, their plans for Earth's annihilation thwarted. The victory was hard-earned, but it was undeniable. Humanity had proven itself as a force capable of fighting back against galactic empires. What was once seen as Earth's vulnerability had turned into strength, and in the end, the Garzak learned the hard way that humanity was no longer to be underestimated. But as one threat faded into the distance, the question remained: what comes next for Earth? What challenges would humanity face after proving itself capable of such a feat? Now that Earth had risen from the ashes of battle, the galaxy took notice. Humanity had just defeated a vast alien empire, one that had been feared and respected across the stars. But with this newfound respect came new questions. What does it mean for Earth to take its place among the stars? How does humanity now shape its future in the galactic arena? As the celebrations began to fade, one question echoed across the minds of Earth's leaders: what happens next? Now that humanity had proven itself as a powerful force, would Earth be able to maintain its newfound position, or would the galaxy's other empires seek to test Earth's limits? And there was another looming concern: new enemies. With Earth's victory over the Garzak, the galaxy's balance had shifted. Was this simply the beginning of something much larger? As humanity basked in its hard-won triumph, the looming uncertainty of what would come next haunted the minds of Earth's leaders. A mysterious signal from deep in the galaxy suddenly pierced through Earth's communication network. At first, it seemed like a routine signal, a random cosmic transmission, but the content was something entirely different. It was encrypted, a form of communication humanity had never encountered before. As Earth's top scientists and military officials worked tirelessly to decrypt the message, it became clear that this wasn't a garbled transmission or a random cosmic anomaly. It was a deliberate message, sent with precision, and it carried something far more troubling. It wasn't just a message, it was a warning. The message contained coordinates, not far from Earth's position in the galaxy, and a cryptic phrase that Earth's best minds struggled to comprehend: the galaxy has shifted. You will be tested. At the same time, rumors began to spread of other alien species who had been monitoring the Garzak defeat from afar. These species were not merely interested in Earth's technological advancements, they were curious about the human spirit, the resilience that had allowed Earth to fight against the overwhelming odds. For many of the galaxy's more established powers, humanity's unexpected rise was seen as a potential threat. But for others, it was a new opportunity, an opportunity to either form alliances with Earth or, in darker corners of the galaxy, to test humanity's true potential in a way that could lead to even greater challenges. And then, as if answering the signal itself, a new powerful force revealed its presence. This mysterious entity, yet to be fully understood, had taken notice of humanity's victory and saw it as a challenge. They had watched the Garzak war unfold from the shadows, and now, they were coming for Earth, not to destroy it immediately, but to see if humanity could withstand their test. The war with the Garzak Empire had been brutal, leaving Earth's cities in ruins, and its people grieving the loss of loved ones. But in the wake of destruction, there was an undeniable determination to rise again. Humanity, once fragmented by differences and divided by borders, found itself united for the first time in history. The reconstruction of Earth became a global effort, with people from all walks of life coming together to rebuild not only their cities but their very spirit. Volunteers worked tirelessly in devastated cities, clearing debris, building shelters, and restoring the infrastructure. From the ashes of war, Earth began to rise, not just as a planet of survivors, but as a united front of strength and resilience. The people of Earth, once divided by national borders and political differences, now stood side by side, their shared experience of war bonding them in ways nothing else had ever done before. Amid this recovery, the emotional weight of the war still lingered. Families that had lost everything found comfort in the courageous sacrifices made by those like General Maria Alvarez, whose sacrifice had changed the course of the war. Alvarez's team had become symbols of hope, her family especially carried the heavy burden of her legacy. Her daughter, Lina Alvarez, was one of the surviving members of the general's elite strike force. Lina struggled daily with the loss of her mother, the deep wound that the war had left in her life. She couldn't help but feel torn between honoring her mother's legacy and continuing the fight her mother had started. Lina had become a leader in her own right, taking up her mother's mantle as part of the Earth Defense Council. But she had to come to terms with the weight of leadership, and the emotional scars of war. As she stood before a memorial for the fallen soldiers, Lina realized that her mother's legacy would live on in every decision made in the rebuilding efforts. Yet, deep inside, Lina knew that her heart still longed for the life her mother had given up, to be the soldier who could bring about change, not just the leader who had to enforce it. In the midst of rebuilding, there were tearful moments and silent prayers for those who didn't come home. But there was also an overwhelming sense of hope for the future. Earth, battered as it was, had survived, and humanity's will to fight had been proven stronger than any external force. The people who had endured so much began to believe, for the first time in centuries, that they could accomplish anything together. While the Earth was rebuilding, its role in the galaxy had changed forever. No longer considered a backwater planet, humanity had proven that it could withstand an empire's attack and come out victorious. The Garzak Empire, once the most feared military force, had been crushed, leaving a power vacuum in the galaxy. Other alien species who had been watching Earth's conflict with a mixture of disbelief and admiration now recognized that Earth was no longer weak, it was a galactic power in its own right. Intergalactic leaders, once dismissive of humanity, now began to approach Earth with respect and caution. Earth's victory over the Garzak was being talked about in the Galactic Senate, on alien networks, and in places where Earth had never been a part of the conversation. There were discussions of forming new alliances, and some alien species were eager to work with Earth, not only for trade and resources but because they recognized humanity's strength and resilience. Earth's position in the galaxy was no longer defined by its geographic location, it was defined by its strength, its will to survive, and its refusal to back down. Human ambassadors were being invited to diplomatic summits with alien factions who saw the potential for new alliances, some driven by mutual interests and others by the realization that humanity could no longer be ignored. Humanity's leaders were cautious. They knew that this new role brought with it great responsibility. Earth's Council began drafting policies for intergalactic diplomacy, setting the stage for humanity to become a mediator between factions, a force for peace amidst the chaos of the universe. Yet, this newfound position of power also meant vulnerabilities. There were old enemies in the galaxy who did not look kindly upon Earth's rise, and the Empire of Shadows, a mysterious and powerful galactic empire, was rumored to be eyeing Earth with suspicion. As the war had unfolded, humanity had learned that survival meant adapting not just in spirit, but in technology. The reverse engineering of Garzak technology had catapulted Earth's military capabilities to a level that would have been unimaginable before the invasion. Alien weapons, advanced shielding, and even spacecraft designs were now in the hands of Earth's engineers and military leaders. human military upgrades were significant. Earth's space fleets were no longer defenseless ships barely capable of standing their ground against alien invaders. Earth's new warships now featured Garzak-level weaponry, enhanced shields, and hyperdrive engines that allowed humanity to engage in space warfare at a much higher level. Earth's fighters and drones were equipped with laser weapons and EMP disruptors capable of taking down even the most powerful alien vessels. On Earth's surface, the human ground forces were revamped as well. Using alien armor and personal shield generators, soldiers were now better equipped to resist alien weapons. The Earth Defense Force began training new recruits using the most advanced tactics combined with Earth's own fighting style. Military simulations were now conducted on alien technology, allowing Earth's forces to train with systems they once thought impossible. The military was also focused on defense. Earth's new defensive satellites, powered by the alien shielding technology, could now provide early warnings of any incoming threats. These satellites were networked across the globe, capable of alerting Earth's command centers of any potential danger from space. Humanity was no longer on the defense, it was becoming a force to be reckoned with. However, there was still much to learn. New alliances with alien factions gave Earth access to more advanced technology, but with it came the reality that Earth would need to balance this new power. The influence of Garzak technology had to be understood fully, and humanity's own vision for the future had to remain in focus. The reliance on alien tech had to be carefully measured, so Earth wouldn't lose its own identity as it rose to become a new galactic power. It started as an anomaly. A flicker in the vast, infinite stretch of space, a signal that, at first, seemed like just another cosmic irregularity. But then, the signal grew stronger, its frequency consistent, and its pattern deliberate. Earth's newly upgraded communications network, designed with the latest alien technology, picked up the encrypted message from deep within the galaxy. It wasn't the usual radiation burst from a distant star or a random signal from a passing asteroid. This was something different. Something that made the most experienced scientists and military strategists pause in unease. The signal was unlike anything Earth had encountered before. It was deliberate, there was intent behind it. The message, when decoded, revealed a series of cryptic symbols. To the naked eye, they seemed random, but to the advanced decryptors aboard Earth's communication stations, they held an undeniable pattern. Each sequence seemed to point toward a specific destination in the vast expanse of space, coordinates to a distant galaxy. The first translation came through, accompanied by a severe shock to Earth's tech systems: "We are watching." Then, a new string of coordinates appeared, further encrypted, giving humanity a destination that wasn't in their star charts. It was located in an area of space unexplored by Earth and on the fringes of known galactic space. The message was clear, but its meaning remained veiled in mystery. Who sent it? And why now? At first, there was confusion. It was an isolated, cryptic signal, nothing humanity had ever received before. The unsettling nature of the message made everyone feel like they were on the edge of something far larger than anything they had yet encountered. The message wasn't just a call for help. It wasn't a distress signal. It was an invitation, but to what, no one yet knew. As word of the alien transmission spread across Earth's leaders, a wave of debate ensued. The United Earth Council, already focused on rebuilding after the war, was thrown into a state of uncertainty. The New World Order, now united in the wake of the Garzak defeat, was faced with a difficult question: should Earth explore the unknown, or focus on the monumental task of rebuilding? Some leaders argued for caution. Earth had already faced one intergalactic threat, and many believed that investigating the signal could invite further conflict. Why open the door to more alien enemies, especially when Earth had just proven itself as a strong contender on the galactic stage? What if the signal was a trap? What if it was meant to lure humanity into a new war? General Maria Alvarez's daughter, Lena Alvarez, now a rising star in Earth's military and political landscape, was particularly cautious. We cannot rush into the unknown. "We have a planet to rebuild and a people to protect," she said in a tense council meeting. Her voice, once so certain and commanding, now wavered with the weight of the great responsibility placed on her shoulders. Her experience in battle made her wary of galactic diplomacy, having seen firsthand the dangers that came with trusting outsiders. However, a different faction within the Earth Defense Council saw the situation differently. They viewed this message not as a threat but as a golden opportunity. This signal could be humanity's chance to explore the galaxy, to form new alliances, and to solidify Earth's position as a key player in galactic affairs. With the defeat of the Garzak Empire, humanity had a unique opportunity to reach out and reshape the galactic balance in its favor. One of the leaders in favor of investigating the signal was Dr. Thomas Vance, the leading scientist behind many of the alien technologies that had allowed Earth to reverse-engineer Garzak technology. Dr. Vance saw the transmission as a chance to connect with a new civilization, to unlock alien knowledge, and perhaps form a crucial alliance for the future of humanity. "The galaxy is vast," he said, "and if we remain isolated, we will be blind to the opportunities and dangers that lie beyond. We have the technology now. We have the strength. Let's see what's out there." But even Dr. Vance acknowledged the dangers of an unexplored galaxy. The unknown was both exciting and terrifying. The question remained, was humanity ready to take the next step, or would they be opening a door they could never close? Amidst the intense debate, a new leader emerged, someone who had been a quiet observer, staying in the shadows until now. Admiral Sophia Kessler, a battle-hardened leader who had seen the worst of what intergalactic conflict had to offer, took the floor. A veteran of the Garzak War, she had a reputation for her cautious approach to military strategy. Admiral Kessler wasn't a brash optimist like Dr. Vance, nor was she a pessimist like Lena Alvarez. She understood the fragility of the situation. "We can't ignore the past. The Garzak were not the only empire out there. But this signal represents something else," Kessler said. "This could be a threat, yes. But it could also be our chance to finally answer the question we've been asking for years: who are we in the galaxy? If we go forward, it will be as one unified species, not scattered factions divided by doubt." Her words carried weight. The room grew silent as Kessler's perspective on the situation shifted the conversation toward action, not just debate. She understood the stakes, and her position as a military strategist gave her the authority to lead humanity into its next chapter. After much discussion, it was decided. Humanity would send a team to investigate the signal. Despite the doubts, Admiral Kessler and Dr. Vance spearheaded the mission, leading a team of humanity's best officers, diplomats, and scientists to explore the coordinates transmitted in the signal. The mission was a delicate balance between caution and ambition. Earth's most advanced ships, designed with Garzak technology and human ingenuity, would be used for this purpose. Among the crew was Captain Elias West, a decorated military officer known for his calm under pressure and sharp tactical mind. His experience in space warfare made him the perfect choice for such a high-risk mission. Accompanying Captain West was Dr. Selina Harrow, a brilliant scientist specializing in alien technologies and the communications expert who had first cracked the encrypted message. Dr. Harrow would be key in decoding any further transmissions or clues once they arrived at the signal's source. As the exploration ship prepared for launch, the weight of their mission settled in. The crew knew they were walking into the unknown, and the consequences of failure were too great to comprehend. Yet, despite the danger, a sense of excitement hung in the air. This wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about expansion, understanding, and securing Earth's future in a universe that was larger and more dangerous than they could have ever imagined. As the sleek, heavily fortified exploration ship Odyssey prepared for launch, the tension aboard the vessel was palpable. A sense of anticipation and fear hung in the air, as the crew gathered in the command center for the final briefing. Their mission was clear: follow the cryptic signal to its source and uncover the mysteries hidden within the coordinates that Earth had received from deep space. It was a journey into the unknown, one that could either lead to humanity's greatest discovery or its untimely destruction. Captain Elias West stood at the helm, his eyes scanning the star maps projected on the large holoscreens in front of him. The Odyssey was humanity's most advanced exploration vessel, equipped with Garzak reverse-engineered weapons, advanced shields, and hyperdrive technology that would allow it to travel to the signal source in a fraction of the time it would take any traditional ship. But despite its technological superiority, West couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into hostile territory, especially with no idea who, or what, might be waiting at the other end. Beside him, Dr. Selina Harrow, the scientist responsible for deciphering the alien signal, busied herself with the final data checks on the ship's communication systems. Her role was crucial. If they encountered anything beyond their understanding, Harrow's knowledge of alien tech would be their first line of defense. She was a master cryptographer, able to decipher the encrypted message that had led them to this moment. Now, she would have to keep an eye on the ever-changing signals that would guide them. "We've got no choice," Captain West said, his voice steady, betraying none of the tension he felt. "Our orders are clear. We have to see this through, no matter what's out there." The crew's eyes shifted from their stations to the captain. There was no backing out. They were about to embark on a mission that could determine the future of not only Earth but possibly the entire galaxy. With a final glance at the stars outside, Captain West gave the command. "Prepare for launch. Set course for the coordinates." The crew fell into a rhythm as the ship's engines roared to life. The Odyssey was leaving Earth behind, cutting through the atmosphere and heading toward the unknown. As the Odyssey entered deep space, the crew settled into their tasks, watching the vastness of the cosmos unfold before them. The view outside the windows was breathtaking: endless stars, nebulae swirling in brilliant colors, and the infinite blackness of space stretching as far as the eye could see. Despite the beauty, there was a weight to the mission. Each crew member knew they were on the front lines of something monumental. But as they ventured deeper into uncharted space, something unexpected happened. The ship's sensors began to pick up faint readings, disturbances in the space-time continuum that didn't belong. At first, it was subtle, a slight anomaly on the radar. But as they got closer to the coordinates, those disturbances began to grow stronger, more pronounced. A low hum filled the ship's walls, reverberating through the hull. "Captain, we've got something," Dr. Harrow said, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and caution. "The signal, it's changing." West immediately moved to her side. "What do you mean, changing?" "The pattern, it's responding to us. It's like it's recognizing our presence." Dr. Harrow's fingers flew over her console as she analyzed the data. "We're close. This could be the first sign of intelligent life responding to our arrival." A murmur of excitement rippled through the crew. The unknown had always been a daunting mystery, but the idea that humanity might not be alone in the universe was a game-changer. Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered, and the Odyssey shuddered, as if a wave had passed through it. The crew froze. The tension in the room reached a boiling point. "What was that?" West asked, his voice sharp. His mind raced. Could this be the alien force they'd been warned about? Was this the first test Earth had to face? "We're approaching the source of the signal," Harrow confirmed, scanning the readings. "It's coming from just ahead. There's something large out there." The ship veered slightly off course as the sensors pinged in rapid succession. The tension among the crew intensified, and everyone braced themselves. Whatever lay ahead, they weren't ready for it. As they approached the coordinates, an immense massive object came into view, a planetary system unlike anything Earth had ever seen. It wasn't a typical, rocky world or a gas giant, but rather something more mysterious, with swirling colors of purple and gold dancing across its surface. The planet was alive with energy, as if it were pulsing in rhythm with the universe itself. This isn't like any planet we've encountered," Dr. Harrow said, her voice shaking slightly. "This is something entirely different. I've never seen anything like this in the records." West narrowed his eyes. "Are we sure this is the source of the signal?" "There's no doubt," Harrow responded, tapping her console. The signals are coming from inside the planet. Whatever it is, it's deep beneath the surface. The ship drew closer, its shields raised, ready for anything. Captain West made the decision to send down a reconnaissance team, though he knew it was risky. They couldn't risk bringing the entire crew into the unknown until they knew what they were dealing with. Prepare a landing team, and ready the transport shuttle. We're going in, West said with a decisive tone. The mission was no longer about finding alien allies, it was now about survival. Something was drawing them in, and it wasn't just the signal. The planet itself felt like a magnetic force, it was pulling them in, and they couldn't resist. As the shuttle descended toward the surface, the crew watched through the window as the ground beneath them began to take shape. Mysterious structures began to emerge from the planet's surface, their towering spires unlike anything human architecture had ever seen. They looked like ancient ruins, but the material they were made of seemed far beyond anything known to mankind. The shuttle landed on the flat expanse of a desolate area. Strange symbols covered the surface, glowing faintly as if the planet itself was trying to communicate. The team stepped out, each one wearing an armored suit designed to protect them from any hostile environment. As they moved toward the ruins, they encountered alien technology, machinery, weapons, and data banks that had clearly been abandoned for centuries. It was as if an entire alien civilization had once thrived here, only to disappear, leaving behind traces of their presence. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the ruins. It wasn't human, it wasn't even the voice of the Garzak. It was something different, something ancient. The voice wasn't speaking directly to them but seemed to resonate through the very air around them. The crew paused, uncertain of what they were hearing. The planet had been silent until now. But now, something was awake, something that had been waiting for humanity's arrival. West held up his hand. We've only just begun to understand what's here. As the crew of the Odyssey ventured deeper into the mysterious alien ruins on the surface of the enigmatic planet, they soon realized that what they were witnessing was far more than just a deserted civilization. The structures, though worn and ancient, seemed to pulse with an unnatural energy. Each step they took felt as though they were being watched, though no one could pinpoint the source of their growing unease. The deeper they ventured, the more apparent it became, these ruins weren't simply abandoned, they were guarded, but by who or what, no one knew. As Captain Elias West and Dr. Selina Harrow led the way, the rest of the team fanned out, scanning the area for signs of danger. Then, suddenly, a distorted hum reverberated through the ground beneath them, and the air around them grew thick with energy. The lights in their helmets flickered, and the ground seemed to tremble in response to the unseen force. Before anyone could react, a massive doorway that had remained sealed for centuries began to open slowly. The large, glowing symbols around it flickered to life as if the ruins themselves had been awakened by their presence. A moment of silence fell, and the crew exchanged wary glances. What lay beyond the door? Was this the source of the signal? They had no choice but to continue. Admiral Sophia Kessler, who had joined them in the initial mission as a security advisor, stepped forward, her voice low but determined. Whatever this is, we need answers. Move out. As the crew passed through the doorway, they found themselves in an immense underground chamber, its size beyond anything they had seen so far. The chamber was filled with alien technology, strange machinery that hummed with dormant power. At the far side of the chamber stood an imposing structure, unlike any known alien design, massive, with intricate engravings that appeared to tell the story of the planet's fall. Before they could fully investigate, a figure stepped out of the shadows. It was an alien, tall and imposing, its skin a dark, almost obsidian shade, with vibrant bioluminescent markings running along its body. Its eyes, glowing with a strange energy, observed the humans silently. "I am Verin, leader of the Zalari," the figure spoke, its voice clear yet unsettling. The crew stood frozen, unsure of whether to fight or run. The presence of the Zalari was overwhelming, not just in their physical stature but in their aura of authority. They were unlike any species the crew had encountered before. "We are the guardians of this galaxy. You have awakened us." The tension in the room reached its peak, but Captain West, ever the diplomat, was the first to speak. "What do you want with us?" His voice was steady, but his eyes remained alert, scanning the alien for any sign of aggression. The Zalari, Verin, regarded him for a moment before responding. "You are the humans who defeated the Garzak Empire, yes?" The question wasn't one of curiosity but of recognition. The Zalari had watched from the shadows, aware of the galactic war, and had seen the human victory as something unprecedented. "Your kind has proven to be much more than what we anticipated," Verin continued. "The Garzak were but pawns in a much larger game. And now, because of you, the Empire of Shadows takes notice of Earth." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The mention of the Empire of Shadows immediately raised the stakes. The Empire of Shadows was a name spoken only in hushed whispers in the galactic circles. A fearsome and ancient race, they were known to be as ruthless as they were secretive. To have them take notice of Earth meant that humanity had just become embroiled in a war of galactic proportions. Verin motioned toward the chamber's walls, where star maps and ancient texts were projected. "You are not alone in this galaxy. The Zalari have protected this realm for eons, and we have seen many empires fall. But the Empire of Shadows is different. They do not just conquer, they consume." The Zalari leader's words echoed in the chamber as the crew absorbed the weight of the situation. Humanity had defeated one empire, but now they were faced with an enemy far more dangerous than they could have imagined. The Empire of Shadows was not simply an empire, it was a force of destruction that sought to wipe out all those who stood in its way. Dr. Harrow, still processing the enormity of the moment, stepped forward. "So, what is it that you want from us? Why are you here?" Verin's glowing eyes softened slightly. "We are here to warn you. The Empire of Shadows has no allegiance. They are neither allies nor enemies to anyone. They will test you, Earth. And they will not stop until they have consumed every last piece of you." As the conversation continued, it became clear that the Zalari were not invaders but observers, beings who had seen civilizations rise and fall, guarding the galaxy's balance. They spoke of the galactic alignment, a force that kept the balance between species. The Garzak had been just one piece in a larger puzzle. The Empire of Shadows was the next piece, and they were coming for Earth. The human crew was faced with a new dilemma: could they trust the Zalari, or were they just another powerful faction with their own agenda? The Zalari's motives were unclear. While they claimed to want to help, their cold, calculating demeanor made it hard to distinguish their true intentions. Admiral Kessler, a seasoned leader, spoke up. "You say the Empire of Shadows will test us. How do we prepare for that? What is it that you want from us?" Verin's expression softened again, almost imperceptibly. "We do not want subjugation, nor do we want control. What we want is for humanity to make its own choices. We offer our knowledge, our technology, and our alliances, but the final decision lies with you." The crew was left to grapple with the implications. They had won a war, but this new revelation placed humanity at the center of an even greater conflict, one that might decide the fate of the galaxy. Earth could either rise to meet this challenge with the Zalari's help, or they could face the Empire of Shadows alone, without the tools or allies they so desperately needed. The silence that followed was heavy. The crew knew that the next steps would define humanity's future. They had been brought to this moment by sheer force of will, but would they be able to navigate the political landscape of a galaxy that was far more complex than they had imagined? The moment the Zalari had left the room, a heavy silence settled over the Odyssey crew. Captain Elias West, who had led humanity's most significant space mission since the war, sat silently in the command room, staring at the star charts before him. His mind raced, processing the gravity of the information the Zalari had just dropped on them. The galaxy, it seemed, was far more complex and dangerous than they had ever imagined. A new war was coming. This time, it wasn't about defending Earth from invaders like the Garzak. This time, it was about galactic survival. The Empire of Shadows, a race of beings with a legacy of annihilation, had set its sights on Earth. And yet, the Zalari offered a fragile alliance, with promises of advanced technology and their centuries of wisdom. Should humanity trust them? Or were they just another faction playing their own game for control? In the command center, Earth's leadership, Admiral Sophia Kessler, Dr. Selena Harrow, Lena Alvarez, and other key figures, gathered to discuss the options ahead. The mood was tense, as each leader had a distinct vision for Earth's next steps. The future of humanity, and the fate of the galaxy, hung in the balance. Admiral Kessler was the first to speak. "We've just been handed a powerful opportunity, but we can't be naive. The Zalari are not benevolent gods. They have their own interests. Do we trust them because they claim to be guardians? Or do we take matters into our own hands and prepare for war on our own terms?" Her words hit hard, echoing the thoughts of many. Lena Alvarez, still carrying the weight of her mother's sacrifice, clenched her fists. She had seen how alliances in the past could be easily broken. Diplomacy had always been a double-edged sword. "We don't have the luxury of trusting strangers right now," Lena argued. "The Garzak almost wiped us out. Now we're being offered a chance to align with another alien faction. What happens when we realize they have their own agenda? What if we end up swallowed up by their schemes?" Lena's voice was steady, but the pain of losing her mother, the woman who had been the face of humanity's resistance, was palpable in every word. Dr. Selena Harrow, the cryptographer who had unlocked the Zalari's encrypted signal, took a deep breath. "I understand the skepticism, Lena. But we're talking about new technology that could change everything. The Zalari's knowledge is far beyond anything we've encountered. If we refuse their help, we could be left defenseless against the Empire of Shadows. We need their alliance. We need to evolve." Her voice carried the weight of scientific curiosity but also a sense of pragmatism. Humanity's technology had advanced rapidly, yes, but Earth's military capabilities were still in their infancy compared to galactic powers. Without alien aid, Earth could risk falling behind. The debate raged for hours, each leader presenting their vision of what Earth's future should be. Some wanted to accept the Zalari's offer, seeing it as a necessary step toward intergalactic diplomacy. Others, like Lena, advocated for Earth to stand alone, believing that humanity had already proven it could survive without depending on alien factions. As the meeting drew to a close, Captain West remained silent for a long while. The crew looked to him for guidance, knowing that his decision would shape Earth's future. Finally, after a long pause, Captain West spoke, his voice calm but firm. "I don't like it either, Lena," he said, turning to her. "But we're outgunned. The Empire of Shadows won't hesitate to destroy us if they think we're weak. The Zalari have offered us a chance, and that's something we can't ignore." The decision was made. Despite their reservations, Earth's leadership agreed to send a formal delegation to meet with the Zalari. Earth would join forces with the ancient species, but on their terms. Earth's future would no longer be just about defending, it would be about expanding, learning, and competing for a place among the stars. But as the delegation prepared to depart, the reality of their decision weighed heavily on every leader's mind. Admiral Kessler gathered her forces for the next phase of humanity's mission, preparing them for the eventual encounter with the Empire of Shadows. The Zalari's technology and alliances would be crucial, but there was a lingering doubt. Would humanity's sovereignty be respected, or would they become pawns in a greater galactic game? As preparations began, a new voice began to rise within the ranks. Captain Elias West, while a trusted leader, was not the only one to carry the torch of humanity's future. Lena Alvarez, now more than ever, felt the pull to lead. Her mother's legacy weighed heavily on her shoulders, but Lena was no longer just General Alvarez's daughter, she was a leader in her own right, someone who had seen the horrors of war and emerged with a clearer vision for humanity's place in the universe. One of Lena's first acts as a leader was to call for a new military initiative, aimed at strengthening Earth's defenses without relying solely on alien alliances. She understood the importance of diplomacy, but she also knew that Earth's greatest strength lay in its ability to fight for itself. "We'll build our own future," Lena said, standing before the Earth Defense Council. "We won't be at anyone's mercy. The Zalari are valuable allies, yes, but we must never forget who we are. We will forge our own path, and no one will dictate our terms but us." Her words resonated deeply with Earth's citizens. Lena Alvarez had become a symbol of humanity's resilience, its determination, and its refusal to bow down. With the decision made and Earth's new military strategy taking shape, the next phase of the mission began, investigating the true nature of the Empire of Shadows. The mission had been launched, the ships were ready, the crew assembled, and the final preparations were underway. Captain West and Dr. Harrow would lead the expeditionary force to the coordinates provided by the Zalari. Their task was clear: gather intelligence, and forge a diplomatic route to protect Earth's future in the galaxy. The crew, now hardened by the Garzak War and the harsh realities of space, knew that their journey was fraught with danger. But the sense of purpose was stronger than ever. Humanity had defeated one empire, but now it had to face a new and more terrifying force. A new ship was commissioned, more advanced than any humanity had ever built, a true reflection of their technological leap post-Garzak War. Hyperdrive technology was enhanced, and advanced alien weaponry was installed to ensure that humanity's first encounter with the Empire of Shadows would go differently than their first battle with the Garzak. As the Odyssey left Earth's orbit once more, heading into uncharted space, Admiral Kessler gave the final orders for the fleet. "Prepare yourselves. We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're preparing to make our mark in the universe. Stay alert, stay united. The galaxy is vast, and it's time for humanity to take its place in it." The decision to align with the Zalari was made, and now, humanity had to face its next challenge: preparation. The Empire of Shadows, a galactic force unlike any other, loomed large in their future. As humanity's first step into the galactic arena, this was not a simple alliance. This was a joining of forces to stand against a fierce, unyielding enemy. The Zalari had promised their help, offering knowledge, technology, and their ancient wisdom. But they had also made it clear that this alliance wasn't without its conditions. The Zalari's long history of guarding the galaxy had instilled in them a sense of duty, but they didn't fully trust humanity yet. Their offer wasn't one of blind faith, it was a partnership of convenience, forged in the fires of mutual necessity. Earth had something the Zalari respected: strength, resilience, and the ability to surprise. Captain Elias West and Admiral Sophia Kessler met with the Zalari's emissary, Verin, in a high-stakes diplomatic meeting aboard the Odyssey. Earth's top military and scientific minds were present, alongside Zalari strategists. It was a delicate balance: both sides needed each other, but there were still lingering doubts. Would the Zalari remain true to their word? Would humanity be able to forge an equal alliance, or would they become subservient to their new alien allies? "We will fight the Empire of Shadows together, but understand this, Captain West," Verin's voice echoed in the quiet room, "the Zalari have no interest in being subjugated by Earth, nor do we wish to control you. This is a mutual alliance, not a dominion." West nodded, acknowledging the Zalari's stance. "We're here as equals, Verin. Earth may be young in the galaxy, but we've proven our worth. We won't be anyone's pawn." The pact was made. The Zalari would offer advanced military strategies, ancient weaponry, and galactic intelligence, things Earth could never have acquired on its own. In exchange, humanity would join forces in the upcoming battle against the Empire of Shadows. But there was a crucial understanding: while they fought together, each side would maintain its independence and pursue its own goals within the larger galactic community. Once the alliance was solidified, Earth's military began a rapid expansion, incorporating both Zalari technology and its own innovations to prepare for the war ahead. The Earth Defense Force, already bolstered by reverse-engineered Garzak technology, now had access to Zalari advancements that propelled Earth's military capabilities into a new league. Human warships, once outdated relics compared to the Garzak fleet, were now fitted with alien-enhanced engines, hyperdrive systems, and energy shields that could stand up to even the most devastating alien weapons. These ships were equipped with laser cannons, plasma rifles, and interceptor drones, all designed to match the formidable power of the Empire of Shadows. In addition to the fleet, Earth's ground forces were also upgraded with alien tech armor and personal shields that made them nearly invincible against standard energy-based weapons. Earth's soldiers, once limited to basic ballistic weapons, now wielded plasma rifles and EMP disruptor guns that could disable alien vehicles with a single shot. One of the most significant upgrades came from the reverse-engineered Garzak mechs, which Earth's engineers had adapted and improved. These massive humanoid machines were powered by hybrid technology that combined human engineering with Garzak cybernetic implants. Now, Earth's mech forces were among the most powerful in the galaxy, capable of standing toe-to-toe with the most advanced alien war machines. "We've caught up in a short span of time, but the question is, will it be enough?" said General Lina Alvarez, addressing a meeting of military leaders in the Earth Defense Command Center. The tension in the room was palpable, as the EDF's newest recruits, eager but still green, sat in silence, waiting for their orders. Lena's voice was firm, but there was an underlying fear. They had advanced quickly, yes, but the Empire of Shadows was still a terrifying unknown. No one knew the full extent of their power or the strategic brilliance that would come with facing them in battle. "We will fight with everything we have," Lena continued, meeting each of their eyes. "But the most important thing is not our weapons. It's our unity. We can't let the Empire divide us. We stand together as one human race, and that's our greatest strength." With their newly upgraded weapons and ships, humanity began intensive military training. Earth's soldiers, now equipped with alien technology, were drilled in new tactics, advanced combat methods, and team coordination with their Zalari allies. The training grounds were filled with the sounds of soldiers in combat, as humans and Zalari sparred together, learning to fight as one cohesive unit. Human soldiers were paired with Zalari strategists, working to refine Earth's fighting style and adapt it to a universal galactic battlefield. Humanity's military experts also delved into Zalari combat doctrine, studying the strategies used to maintain balance in the galaxy for centuries. The Zalari tactics were precise, cold, and efficient, designed to neutralize any threat with minimal loss. Earth's military would learn to combine the grit and adaptability that had allowed them to survive the Garzak invasion with the clinical precision of the Zalari. This combination of human resilience and alien expertise would be key to the upcoming conflict. Meanwhile, Dr. Thomas Vance worked tirelessly with the Zalari scientists to decipher ancient alien technologies that could be incorporated into Earth's arsenal. Earth's scientific community quickly began testing energy-based weapons, shielding enhancements, and even biomechanical enhancements to improve human soldiers' efficiency on the battlefield. With each passing day, the gap between Earth and the galaxy's advanced species closed. As Earth prepared for war, questions about the Zalari's true motives remained. They had shared their knowledge, but it wasn't clear whether their intentions were purely altruistic or if they were manipulating humanity for their own hidden goals. Verin, the leader of the Zalari delegation, had assured humanity that their goals were aligned, but there were still unanswered questions. Some of Earth's military leaders, including General Kessler, voiced their concerns. She had seen firsthand the effects of alliances built on deception and wanted to be cautious. "We've seen what happens when we trust too easily," Kessler remarked during one of the council meetings. "The Zalari may be ancient, but they are also calculating. We need to be prepared for anything." Despite the uncertainty, the Zalari were humanity's best hope for surviving the Empire of Shadows. Earth would have to walk a fine line, trusting the Zalari's promise of support while keeping a watchful eye on their true motives. The Zalari's offer of protection came with a caveat: humanity would need to prove itself in the coming war. The Empire of Shadows would test humanity's resolve, and the Zalari believed that only through this trial would humanity earn its place in the galaxy. The time had come. The fleet was assembled, the soldiers were ready, and Earth's military was no longer the underdog it once was. With the Zalari's knowledge and technology now integrated into Earth's forces, humanity stood poised on the edge of something monumental. This wasn't just a battle, it was the first of many to come. Humanity's entry into the galactic stage was not a choice, it was a necessity. The Odyssey, accompanied by a full fleet of human and Zalari ships, set course toward the coordinates they had intercepted from the Empire of Shadows. The signal had led them to an area of space known for its hostile inhabitants, where the Empire of Shadows had been known to operate, spreading their destructive influence across the galaxy. As Earth's fleet entered the enemy's territory, the sheer magnitude of what they were about to face became clear. The Empire of Shadows had already laid its claim on this region of space, and their forces were overwhelming. But humanity was no longer a naive species caught off guard. They had allies, they had technology, and most importantly, they had the will to fight. Captain Elias West stood on the bridge of the Odyssey, watching the holographic displays as enemy ships appeared on the horizon. They were massive, their hulls adorned with alien markings that glowed ominously in the void. As the first wave of ships materialized, Captain West didn't hesitate. "All ships, engage at will. We have no time to waste." The battle began. Human ships launched into the fray, armed with alien technology that had been integrated into their systems. The Zalari fleet, though smaller in number, provided strategic support, using their advanced tactics to outmaneuver the enemy. The first exchange of fire was intense, blasts of plasma and laser fire filled the void of space, lighting up the dark sky like a firestorm. At first, the Empire of Shadows ships appeared unstoppable. Their weaponry was far superior to anything humanity had ever encountered. The alien ships' shields absorbed the initial rounds of fire from Earth's fleet, and their counterattack sent shockwaves through human defenses. But humanity was adaptable, and their ships, despite their initial disadvantage, began to fight back with a precision the enemy had not expected. Admiral Kessler, coordinating from the command ship, gave orders to the fleet. "Target their weak points. The Empire may have superior firepower, but we have the advantage in mobility. Outmaneuver them." The human fleet spread out, using Zalari combat strategies to evade direct hits while attacking the enemy's supply lines. A human vessel took the first strike at one of the Empire's motherships, dodging incoming fire and then diving into a counterattack. The resulting explosion sent a shockwave rippling across space, signaling the first victory for humanity in this conflict. However, the battle was far from over. The Empire's response was swift and brutal. More ships arrived from the darkness, a second wave of reinforcements descending like shadows. The human fleet was now outnumbered, an overwhelming force was approaching fast. Just as the human forces began to feel the weight of the Empire's reinforcements, a breakthrough came. Dr. Selena Harrow, the scientist and cryptographer who had unlocked the alien signal, had been working on a new weapon in secret. Utilizing Zalari technology and a modified version of the Garzak weapon systems, Dr. Harrow had developed a hypercannon capable of breaching even the toughest alien shields. The weapon was ready, Earth's last hope. It was mounted on the Odyssey, a ship now brimming with humanity's most advanced technology. "We've got one shot at this, Captain. If we don't hit their flagship now, this battle will be lost." Captain West nodded, his face a mask of determination. "Do it, Dr. Harrow. Fire when ready." The hypercannon powered up, its core glowing with energy. As it discharged, a blinding beam shot across the battlefield, striking the enemy flagship head-on. The alien ship's shields shattered on impact, leaving it vulnerable for a brief moment. The second wave of human ships opened fire immediately, sending a barrage of missiles and plasma rounds into the now defenseless flagship. Within moments, the Empire of Shadows flagship was reduced to a burning wreck. The crew watched as the enemy flagship crumpled, signaling a crucial victory for humanity. The battle wasn't over, but this victory sent a clear message to the Empire: humans were not to be underestimated. Despite the defeat of their flagship, the Empire of Shadows did not retreat immediately. They were fierce, calculating, and unwilling to lose face. A second wave of fighter ships poured in, along with elite shock troops designed for close combat. As Earth's fleet continued to engage in space combat, the Odyssey made its way toward an unknown enemy base hidden in the dark expanse of the galaxy. The mission had gone from a simple scout mission to a full-fledged war, and Earth's forces, despite their successes, were beginning to feel the strain. But with every success, humanity's resolve grew stronger. It was no longer about just defending Earth, it was about proving to the galaxy that Earth would not be an easy target. As the battle intensified, the Zalari joined in with their advanced ships, providing cover fire for humanity's fleets. Together, the two species were united in a common cause: to stop the Empire of Shadows from conquering Earth. In the end, it wasn't just about the technology or the weapons. It was about humanity's spirit, its refusal to submit, and its unwavering will to survive.